And thanks to those joining me live and those who will be joining me on the archive, the style here. Been joined by the one and the only Mario Munguia. How's it going, Mario?
Oh, we're chilling, champ. We're chilling. Did 3 hours earlier today on wrestling only. So this is
Jeez.
legitimately the first boxing talk of the day.
Shit. That's what it's
I
all
know.
about right there.
They started.
Shit.
Everybody saw my figs on TikTok, and so they were like,
Mm.
"Hey, what figs do you have?" I told them I don't collect figs. I collect Bret Hart lore figs, right? So like the Stone Cold bloody head from, the submission match, the best WrestleMania match of all time, the Piper WrestleMania 8. So they wanted to see. I showed them. It took like an hour.
I mean, I got my own type of shit over here. We got this Deloya.
Oh my god! And that thing's so expensive now. It's so expensive on eBay now, dude.
It doesn't quite clap anymore. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't come with the fishnets like or anything like that. This is when he was cool. This is when he was the golden boy. You know what I mean? Like,
fuck, dude. Oh my god! You just put the image of fucking Funko Pop size fishnets into my head, and I fucking lost it. Thank God
and
I
of
didn't
course,
drink this yet.
we got the greatest of all time.
That one's sick, dude. I'm getting that one next for sure. The only one I have is the Chavez.
I have the Chavez one too. I just don't have it here in front of me at the moment, but I have it. And of course, Iron Mike.
Oh, damn. And that's the good Iron Mike. The other one, the tattoo one, like, why would anybody want that on their shelves? That's sad, Mike. Like that one, that right there, what you got, that's like iconic, Mike.
And remember, it isn't hating. You speak the facts.
Yo, you do a pretty.
Before we get the show started, I heard you had a beef and you have a problem with my pound for pound list, and that you don't think it's real. That you think it's all like just me. Like it's fake out.
Yeah.
Whatever you think it is. What's up?
Yeah. Because well, first I'll start with my theory, and then we'll get into that. So my theory is this: you've been on YouTube for a really long time. You've been doing this for a long time. You're a veteran in the game, and
100%.
you are now seeing, not now, you've been seeing it, but now it's like worse than ever. The way the algorithm on YouTube is working, the way the algorithm on all these platforms is working now, it is not designed to push the things that we do anymore, right? In fact, it's like the opposite. So you're smartly taking advantage of the kind of social media engagement that leads to traction that will bring them to your designation, right? Your channel, so that they can view and listen to better content to better educate them on the sport. I value what you're doing. And I hate that you have to take a bunch of shit from people who don't realize what you're doing. That's okay. But obviously, it's clear. I've been watching this channel
100% real.
long enough.
This is real.
I've known D-Style long enough that I know he does not believe Shakur Stevenson is number one pound for pound. Over Inoue, over Usyk. What do you think, D-Style? Some casual fan, guys? He's been doing this for a long time. He's a veteran in the sport. He is the master of trolls, all right? So calm your tits. He's clearly, he's working us, all right? You like wrestling? You're fans of wrestling, guys? This is what we call in the business a worky McWork face,
Mario,
and that's what we're all getting. Work.
I hate to break it to you, but this is 100% real.
Sure it is.
100% real.
Yeah, and Hulk Hogan was all natural, right?
I did a whole video about it, and I'm telling you, I have no incentive at all.
Next thing you know, you're gonna tell me Shawn Michaels and Vince McMahon didn't have sex, right? What, you're gonna convince us of that next? What are you gonna tell us?
I mean, who knows about that one? I don't know about all that, but
Shakur Stevenson. How Shakur?
Shakur Stevenson just beat Teofimo Lopez up, made it look easy, didn't break a sweat, didn't have a mark on his face. Teofimo Lopez looked deflated. All right, his dad looked lost. He had nothing to tell him. He looked discouraged. He looked depressed after the fight. He'll probably never be the same. His whole team abandoned him, left him alone in the locker room. And Shakur Stevenson was ready. He could have fought another 12 rounds against somebody else right after that. That's what he just did to Teofimo Lopez, the same guy that beat Lomachenko, the same guy that beat Josh Taylor. That's what he just did. Like that is an impressive, emphatic. It's going to be a hard. We're burning in February. It's going to be hard to top that one for performance of the year. It's hard to top it. That is the best performance in boxing in the last 5 years. That's how good that performance was.
That's fucking crazy. Listen, listen. First of all, a couple of points I want to knock off.
Sure.
Tio looked like that long before Shakur got in there. All right. You're talking about Teofimo, a guy who, and I'm not making a joke about this, but it's been like, one of these guys that's, up and down, like kind of like bipolar of boxing and stuff, like the Ryan Garcia. So that right there is not attributed to the fight. Second of all, his dad did one of the worst cornering jobs in the 100%. History of the sport at that level, then comes out and absolutely buries his son, goes into business for himself and buries his son, claiming he didn't do some made up, make believe in your head game plan that he,
that's right.
We never heard a word of this. All we heard was, hey, bro, you got to throw more punches, bro. So to give Tio credit as this ultimate win, it's an incredible win. It's a good win. He's a good fighter. Shakur showed a lot. He deserves to be in the pound for pound list. But to overblow this fight on a guy we'd already seen beat, right? And that's not to say anything, but it is true. A guy who already looked bad against Jermaine Ortiz.
That is such a cop-out. Like, what is this?
A guy who's looked bad against lower-level fighters.
Mario Ali lost. A lot of the greats lost. People lose. Like, we can't just say, he lost before. He was a top fighter. He was the man in the division, and he moved up in weight class to fight him. He was before who beat him?
Time ago, champ. A long time ago.
What are you talking about? He was the man at 140, bro.
Okay, yeah, the de facto 140-pound division.
He annihilated Josh Taylor.
Amir Khan, Tim Bradley, Alexander. The future of 147 is the way we used to look at it, and that's not the 140-pound division anymore.
No. I'm telling you right now, he destroyed Josh Taylor in a fight he was an underdog in.
Yeah.
All the people, he lost to Cambozas before, so therefore he beat Lomachenko.
You a believer in people's resumes aging with fine wine or aging like milk?
No. What I'm just telling you how good of a fighter he is.
And you don't have to sell me on that fact. But if we're gonna compare,
so who has had? You tell me who has had better wins, Mario?
Fury, we're gonna call Tio a better win than Tyson Fury. I know you don't believe that. I know you don't believe that.
100%.
I know you don't believe it.
It's laughable.
I know you don't.
It's laughable. No. Let me cut in because you're about to get destroyed here. Okay. No. You I'm much better debater than Ngannou's a boxer. Right? And what did Ngannou do to Tyson Fury? Tyson Fury arguably lost to a guy making his pro debut, bro. He was coming off that performance. Spare me, he beat Tyson Fury.
Didn't you just use the argument?
He went life and death with Wilder in a trilogy. He went life and death with him.
That a single performance doesn't dictate the value of a fighter.
This is not just a performance. This is Ngannou.
A minute ago.
This is Ngannou.
Yeah, you're right. And I'm actually really good at poker, but if I went into a tournament high off of cocaine, weed, drunk, I don't think I'd perform very well. All I'm trying to say is that we don't know what version of Fury was there that night, but the totality of his career suggests that Fury was
but we're talking about what have you done for me lately?
Era. And on top of that, he presented the size advantage that was different. He presented.
Here's the difference, Mario. Hold on, Mario.
What are you talking about? Shakur and Tio are essentially the same guy.
Time out. It's not like he fought Ngannou and then like 4 years later he fought Usyk. Like, he had some good wins after that and redeemed himself. No, like the Usyk fight was announced before the Ngannou fight. That's how close it was. All right? Like they announced Usyk versus Fury, and then he goes in there and arguably loses against a guy making his pro debut in Ngannou right? And then he goes into the Usyk fight, and it's not like he's weighing like really. He's still in the high 270s. He's still fat as fuck. He still has love handles. And yes, I love the fact that Usyk beat him, but to say that that's better than anything Shakur's done in beating Teofimo is insane to me. Imagine what you would be saying if Teofimo in the fight before Shakur arguably lost, right? To not only lost to a UFC fighter coming off an ACL injury and surgery, and it was inactive for 2 years, and came into boxing his pro debut and arguably beat Teofimo. It would be laughable to even bring up, the fact that Shakur beat him.
Okay,
and everybody knows this.
And this is why your argument is such a failed one, right? And this is why every time
you can't just say it's a fail. You need to prove it's a failed
one. No, I'm going to explain it. It's a failed one because I don't have to defend Usyk. I think he's proven himself much better. But then we can jump on to Inoue. We can jump on to Terrence Crawford. We can jump on.
I didn't bring up
Fury. Fighters like Bam Rodriguez who have done this thing. Right, fight at the top level of opposition for much longer than a single fight. And this is the real problem I have with this team. And this is why I know you're capping. This is why I know this is all a cap. This is all for great clips, and it's brilliant. And I'm going to tell you how I know this, because you have been one of the most staunch critics of Top Rank and the Top Rank diet. And yet, this decision by you is a complete go back on all the things that you criticized the Top Rank with, giving a single performance that
Mario,
much weight.
It's not a single performance. You got the Zepeda win.
It's ridiculous. You're rewarding
you got
Top
the
Rank
Zepeda win. You got the Valdez win. You got the Consecao win. You got a bunch of wins.
Oh my God! No, you didn't just. Oh my God, you did.
What do you mean?
You're throwing.
Who's Usyk beating? Who did Usyk beat? I mean, let's break it down. Who did he beat? He beat. Oh, did he beat Dubois? The guy that Joe Joyce beat? Is that who he beat? Like, who are we talking about?
No. That's funny, because actually, what he did was undisputed. Probably what was the most competitive era of cruiserweight in the history of the
those
division.
Guys were on the other side of the track compared to none of those dudes. None of them are as good as Teo. None of them.
Fighters. That cruiserweight division was great. He undisputed.
It wasn't
the
great.
Whole thing.
No, it wasn't.
It
wasn't great. It was good.
Unifies the division. At least fights one.
Mario, how many of those cruiserweights were on the pound for pound list? How many of those cruiserweights
win in his biggest win?
What do you mean it was a great division?
Boils down.
No. Look. I'm not going to say it was
a great division.
Hold on. It was a good division. Okay, but to say it was great, I mean, you're kind of stretching it a little too much.
No.
Here, okay. I'm sorry.
It was the greatest in its era. Nobody could come with a better era of cruiserweights.
And you're right. I have been critical of Shakur, but I could be critical when it's warranted, right? Because look, I don't think he's the most entertaining fighter in the world, and I think that's where your bias comes in. I think you feel he's a boring fighter. You feel he's not impressive. You don't like the way he wins. But that's not what I'm basing it on.
I was very impressed by the win. It has nothing to do with Shakur. And here's the other thing. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say this. You probably are right from a landscape.
No, I am right.
Hey, let's just base this on what we see and who these guys are right now.
Can I ask you a question,
be right. Shakur might be the best fighter on the planet right now, but he doesn't have the resume. And how dare you allow
that's not what pound for pound means.
With this kind of
pound for pound doesn't mean what's the best resume, Mario. That's not what pound for pound means.
That's how we prove these guys' levels.
No.
All this is
resumes matter. Mario, hold on, one at a time. Resumes matter, right? Of course they matter, but he doesn't have a Tank Davis resume either, right? He's beaten guys. When he beat them, it was a big deal. When he fought Valdez, it was a good win, right? When he beat these guys, it's when he did it, and not just when he did it, how he did it. How he beat Teo. Teo was a lineal champion. That's not an opinion.
Oh my God. I'm so mad at you right now. I'm so
you
mad.
You could say, "Oh my God." You could say you're mad.
I'm so mad that you're putting me in this position.
I don't want you. I don't want you.
My arguments.
Don't have an emotional reply.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. No. Don't fucking do that, dude.
What I'm trying to say is,
that.
No,
don't do that. It's 9:30, and you're not gonna do that to me.
No. Like what I'm saying is, don't have an emotional reply. Respond to my actual points. Because
Absolutely.
saying "Oh my
Absolutely.
God" is not a point. Saying "I'm so disappointed in you," I can't
No,
believe
no,
you're
no. You're
saying that
absolutely
is any
right.
point.
You're absolutely right. And here's the frustration for me is that I know how good of a win Oscar Valdez is. The win was. I know
When he
that
beat him,
Shakur, when everybody was talking shit about this top ranked diet, I knew that he was passing these tests as commercial failures as they were for the casual fans. He was passing these tests with flying colors, right? If you have a kid who's supposed to be a genius and he jumps from elementary to high school, right?
can
And
I
he's
just ask you a
passing
question?
ninth grade stuff, right? You can assume that he's as smart as a college student, but until he passes that level, until he gets to that level, there's no saying he's not.
Hey
Tio is
Mario,
not a pound for pound guy. He wasn't even. I mean, again, I think his
what are you
entire resume
talking
is
about, bro?
questionable.
Like you sound like a casual saying that Teal was not an
No,
elite
dude,
fighter.
I'm using logic to.
That's not logic. Saying
That
that
is
Teal was
logic.
not. No, hold on. You're probably one of the dudes that thought Lomos can beat him, huh?
That I thought Lomo was going to beat Tio.
You
Yeah,
picked
I did. I
Lomachenko to
did.
beat him, right?
But I was also one of the guys that knew it was a 50-50 fight.
No, but you picked Lomachenko, right?
I picked Lomachenko,
Yeah,
sure.
you were wrong. Like, you just don't assess him
Sure,
right. Like, it
absolutely.
is what it
I
is.
don't
But
dispute
did
I
you
was
pick
wrong.
Josh Taylor or Teofimo?
I picked Josh Taylor. Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so like obviously you don't have a good batting average when it comes to Tio. Like obviously
No,
you're
no,
not
you're
assessing
right.
him right.
You're right. And you know who else has a bad average when it comes to Tio? Tio also has a bad average when it comes to Tio because
But
Tio
he only
only
has
gets
one.
up
Like bro,
when the
like
moment rises to the occasion. We've seen him look less. We've seen him look average. Have we not seen him look
but he
average?
won all those fights that you're talking
But
about.
that's
Oh,
the
he didn't
thing
look
is
good in this fight. He
the
won.
difference between elite and great is consistency. So yes, Tio is good. He may be even borderline great, but the difference is he
Tio,
lacks the discipline and the seriousness to go in there every single time and
you're a
present
Cowboys
his best
fan, so
foot
you're gonna get
forward.
this one.
Dude,
Right.
you piece of shit. You
Let's check
piece
this
of
out.
shit.
Check this out.
Oh,
You're
I
a
knew you were
Cowboys
gonna go
fan, so
there.
you're gonna get
I
this one,
knew
right?
you were gonna. Well, we don't treat our coaches as badly as y'all
No,
treat
hold
y'all.
on.
But
You're a
at the end of the
Cowboys
day,
fan.
all I'm gonna say.
Wait. Let me make the point.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You'll
Go
get
ahead.
this one.
Go ahead.
Tio. Tio's a great
Yo.
fighter, bro. Like he's a great fighter. Like you know, your mouth was wide open when he was beating the shit out of Josh Taylor. You was like that. Like
I
that's how you were watching the fight. It is what
I
it
was
is.
shocked to
But
see a version of him after the version I saw
okay,
before.
but
I'll be
that's
just
the
as
version
shocked
that
to see
showed
Ryan
up and he
Garcia.
couldn't deliver, right? So here's the deal.
Absolutely.
Here's the deal. Like I think you're looking at it this way because for whatever I don't know what your gripe with. Maybe you just think he's a boring fighter. Maybe you don't like him
Dude,
much, but
Stop saying that. It's not true. I am
all right,
a huge fan of
I'm
Shakur.
just saying I don't know what it is. I'm guessing because I don't understand why you can't just give the dude his credit. With that said, you brought up Usyk, and when I shut that down, you're like, well, I don't need to go to Usyk. I go to this, right?
Exactly. That's the problem with arguments of making number one pound for pound statements jump
No,
so
but
big
you're saying
after a
I don't
single
need
fight.
to do anything, but that just means I eliminated Usyk from the equation. That's what I did.
No, that means that I can jump back and forth and make arguments that unsupport your specific
but let's settle it with
claim.
this. Let's settle with this. 135 to 147. Who would you pick to beat Shakur Stevens?
135 to
Well,
147.
you will bet your mortgage on it that they will beat Shakur Stevenson. 135 to 147, brother. I'm giving you.
There's nobody I'd bet my mortgage to beat Shakur. Nobody. Now, if you want to
You
ask
bet
me
$100. $100.
if you want to, see, nobody, because again, I agree with you that Shakur seems to be that
you
guy,
don't think anybody at 135,
level yet.
140, 147 could beat Shakur, right? Is there anybody that could move up from featherweight to beat Shakur?
I don't think so. No.
Are there any up and comers that you
I
think
think
in the
Devin
next 5
Haney
years
can beat Shakur. I think Devin Haney
No, he can't. I'm telling you right now, no, he can't.
Dude. No, you shouldn't.
You can't do it. I'm telling you right now,
Devin
Devin Haney cannot beat Shakur Stevenson. I'm just telling you that right now.
There are thousands of Spence
So
fans
why didn't you fight him,
still
Mario?
crying right now on social media because
So
they
why
made
didn't you fight
statements
him?
like the ones you're making right now.
After the Loma win, after Loma was done beating the shit out of Haney, but they robbed him right after that fight happened, right? Well, why didn't you fight Shakur?
It's funny that you're okay calling that questionable, despite the fact that it was
It was
definitive,
questionable.
and yet you're okay saying that Tio's win over Loma's definitive when it was just as disputed. But
No, it
that
wasn't.
said,
No, it was
yeah, it
not
kind of
disputed.
was. It
By
kind of was
who? By who?
by like the 50%,
No, that's not
of
true.
boxing
I've
fans,
been covering boxing
probably.
every year, brother. That's not true. I'm telling you that. That's
Yeah,
not
no, no,
true.
no. I'm telling you that that's true. There were just as many people that thought Loma won the
No, there
Tio
wasn't.
fight as there were people that
Nobody,
thought,
not even Loma said he won.
uh,
Loma said he thought it was a draw.
yeah, but
That's
Loma's
how
like
bad
a
he lost.
gentleman guy. Like we, them Eastern European, like we can't really,
Loma just
that's a
did an
different.
interview
They're
not
different
long
kinds of
ago.
people.
No, Loma did an interview not long ago where he feels that's the only fight he lost, brother. You're just wrong about
Well, I've
that.
also heard him give interviews where he said, "I'm not the judge." So at the end of the day, I don't know how much that's worth. All I'm
Yeah,
saying is that
but
it
when you
was
ask him about the Haney
disputable.
fight, he said he
There were a
won.
number of swing rounds.
There was like, look, you can
So
go back
does
and forth
Ryan
about it.
Garcia become number 5 pound for pound on your list if he beats Mario Barrios?
I don't remember Teofimo saying, I don't know, he knows everything I'm doing, Dad. I don't remember Teofimo saying that shit.
He's incredible, but let's see what happens when he's in front of somebody who's better than Tio. And I think that if we ask that question, there are plenty of guys we could go down the list that
All
have a
right,
ceiling
so
that
I
could
gave
beat a Tio. I
you
think a Mario
3.
Barrios could beat a Tio just based off of the advantages he has size wise.
Hey, my Alexa just went off. I don't know why, by the way. Shut up, Alexa.
Listening to you, dude. That
Yeah.
the government, bro.
Once the router is back on and connected to the internet,
I don't know what that's about.
Dude,
Mario,
that
say
sounds
something while I turn this
crazy.
off.
Yeah, listen, I think at the end of the day, there is this conception that it's about what Shakur didn't do. That's not the case at all, right? But could Shakur have done more? Could we have gotten a stoppage? All I know is that when we saw Keyshawn in his fight with Jermaine Ortiz, it was pretty boring too. And Keyshawn had hurt him, but Jermaine Ortiz is a fantastically defensive fighter. And yet Keyshawn smelled blood. He found a way to get to that fight and stop it. Now, I'm not even trying to suggest that Ortiz win is similar to a Tio win. What I am saying is that there are levels to fighting. The fact that Shakur didn't even stop Tio and he had this great performance shows us a ceiling that could be number 1 pound for pound. But at this point, it cannot be given based on this one win alone, despite the fact that it was a unanimous decision.
And it's not just about a win. It's about
Well, where
assessing
they
how.
have him before.
Mario, hold on, Mario. It's
Okay,
about
go ahead.
assessing. It's about assessing how good a fighter is. That's all pound for pound means. Pound for pound is not a test of resumes. If that was the case, Canelo would still be number 1 pound for pound right now, right? That's not the way it works, right? Like that's not how it works, Mario. Like pound for pound is a fluid, never-ending, moving, like living thing. It's not like you just update it every Monday of the week or once a month or every 6 months and you assess. That's not how it works. It doesn't work. It doesn't even work the way boxing rankings work, where you beat this guy, you move up the rankings, you become the mandatory. None of that exists in pound for pound. All pound for pound means is who do you think is the most skilled fighter in boxing? That's all it means. Full stop. It doesn't mean anything else, right? And in my opinion, I'm not even a fan of the guy. Right? I don't even like the way he fights. But I'm being objective when I say he's the best fighter in boxing. If everyone was the quote unquote same size, I would bet my money on Shakur Stevenson over all of them. And I know and I heard what you say. You said Haney could beat Shakur, but you didn't say he would. Right? You don't have a lot of confidence he would. Right? And there's a reason he didn't fight Shakur Stevenson after that fight. When he looked him down in the eye and he looked at him and he said, for now, and all you could do is walk away. All right? So I'm telling you right now, from 135, 140, 147, none of these dudes, none of them can beat, all right, Shakur Stevenson. None of them. Right? Even if you disagree with the number 1 spot, we're splitting hairs. I'm not going to argue with you if you put Inoue number 1. Inoue is probably my favorite fighter right now, right? Or if you want to put Usyk number 1, but it's interchangeable. They are separated by very thin lines at the end of the day. Right?
Well said. Well said.
That's what I'm going to say about that. With that said, let's keep it moving, though, right? Mario, we don't have a time to go over everything, but we already touched on Teofimo Shakur, basically. So besides that, what are some things that stood out for you on Saturday night? Don't talk about Zuffa yet. Just Saturday night. Besides I know you probably watched the Rumble early that day, but
I did.
boxing, what stood out to you?
So I think the Shushu show was
Oh, we can't give him credit.
absolutely
He doesn't no
sent.
credit. None.
That was absolutely started on Saturday.
When
The
you wear
Shushu show was
Yankees
absolutely
attire,
started was when you
yeah.
wear Yankee. Oh, I saw your tweet on that. That was hilarious, dude. And here's the thing: you're right about the Yankees, but come on, that thing was fire, bro. Oh man, I don't know what it was made out of. It looked like it was. It looked like it was made out of like
I'm
rhino or
just
some shit.
that I am trolling about. But some Yankees fans got mad at me on Twitter. But
Did
but
they
I was just
really?
joking.
Yo,
Yeah.
I bet Dan got mad. He gets mad when
Well,
you
you're
troll him
from
on that shit.
Texas. What do you know about New York? I'm like,
And then he
chill out,
starts talking
man. I
about
don't know.
cheating and shit. It's like, chill, bro. But we know about beating y'all. That's what we know. But so at the end of the day, what ends up happening with Shushu is he shows something, a level, right? And this is what I appreciated about the fight is that he was down, or he wasn't down, but there was a moment
He was in a
needed to make an
fight.
adjustment, and he was in a fight. Yes. Yo, this guy did not come to lose. And at the end of the day, we saw Shushu rise above and make the adjustments. You said it. There are very thin lines when you get to the elite. There are very thin lines that separate these guys. And you have to watch boxing for a really long time before you can actually distinguish between these things. All I know is that when you're able to make adjustments like that, that's one of the highest level things you can do in a fight. The other thing was Keyshawn. I was really hard on Keyshawn coming to the fight. I thought his performance at Andy Cruz's fight was the most cringeworthy thing I'd ever seen. Seeing him laugh and make social media posts about a guy who stepped up way more than you have, and you didn't win that fight, and you've still lost to him, by the way. Like, so all that made me think that Keyshawn needed a big performance, and I think he solidified it. You know, it's hard to have a fight with that kind of fight script and momentum and then find a stoppage. He did a really good job targeting the body at key moments throughout the fight. Shout out to him. Those two stood out, and I'm sure we can talk about Zayas whenever you want.
Yeah, look, Carlos Castro. I mean, I seen him in wars like Neri. He did get stopped by Figueroa, but he was actually, putting up a good fight in that fight. The Stephen Fulton fight was really, really close. Some people felt he won that fight. He did drop Fulton in the middle round. So,
Yep.
And he did it. He made a good account of himself. What I will say before I talk about Carrington is Carlos Castro. I mean, that's the type of guy that I hope they put back on TV. He always brings it. He's fun to watch. Just losing shouldn't be the end of the road. Like, you know what I mean?
Great point. Great point,
Boy, did he get pieced up. I mean, I forgot about what type of a fight Bruce Carrington was in before that stoppage. That is one of the best combination knockouts I've seen in a while. Right, and that was a hell of a stoppage there. Keyshawn, look, I've always been a fan of Keyshawn, and that's the one name you forgot, Mario. Out of all the guys at 135 to 147, that's the dude. However, they say they're
right.
brothers and they're never going to fight. So, even though they're not really brothers, but
Yeah, that would be unfortunate.
But they're not really brothers. You know what I mean?
No. That's what I mean. It would be unfortunate if they don't fight because they're not actually brothers.
They're not going to fight. Apparently, it's a no-go. So we're not going to get that. But that's the one guy I think can give Stevenson all types of problems. Great win. I mean, a great stoppage, great body work. I mean, he's just a vicious killer to the body. I've always been high on Keyshawn, and man, I mean, yeah, he definitely put on a show. And on the top ranked card, Zayas. I mean, Xander Zayas became unified champion. Great fight, great closing round. What a war in that final round. Zayas had to earn that one, but I will say though they were kind of like the two, I guess, weak link champions, and they were kind of unifying against each other. It's crazy to think that a unified champion is not really considered like the best. Like, most people would pick Ortiz or Boots for the most part to beat those guys, but including Zayas. But hey, nonetheless, he did his thing. It was good to see him like in Puerto Rico, but I kind of feel like they missed something with not putting Zayas on that New York crowd in Madison Square Garden, because he's Puerto Rican. It could help build him there, but it was still a big deal. Put him in the island in front of 10,000 people, though. But I did enjoy all that action. We got a little bit of everything. We got master classes. We got slugfest, come from behind knockouts. I mean, drama. Like we got a little bit of everything. You know what I mean?
We got
So,
comedy when what's his name's toupee got
I
knocked off
can't
his
even.
head.
I can't believe I almost even forgot. If you didn't mention that, I would have forgotten.
I
I can't
can't.
even believe that.
Yeah,
Why didn't
yeah.
you just go bald, bro?
Yeah, I know, right? And there are like a lot more secure type of procedures today to do that kind of stuff. Like that, I don't know who told him that. My brother is a barber, and he was like, dude, whoever told him that was gonna stay, they fucking either knew or they're dumb as shit. Like they knew that moment was
Was
coming.
it hanging on like to the hairs on the side? How's it hanging on?
I thought it looked really good on the way in. I went and looked back. It looked really good on the way in. And then you could see the part just started going from like a nice little part to like really far. And then you knew something was going on at that point. But then when you saw
Yeah.
that uppercut and it went, oh my God, that was it, bro. I got 2,000 people on TikTok to watch that thing in like 20 minutes. I didn't even
Dude.
do anything. I just posted it and I put like his top got knocked or something like that. And yeah,
I
people were
mean,
roasting him. It was, and then you saw they were passing it around. Fucking
yeah, I
Sky
did.
Nicholson put it on her head. She still looked hot as shit.
Yeah, check it out. Shout out to yeah, she was from the Bronx all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Jordan, how's it going, brother? Bruce, Goss, Jazz, and more. How's it going? I hope everything's good
Shout
on
out,
your
Bruce.
end. Eric Gomez says Bomb Squad. All right, we're gonna talk about him in a little bit, by the way.
Yeah.
So shout out to him, not Eric Gomez, and this isn't
Yeah.
Eric Gomez from Golden Boy, by the way. Just throwing that out there. I still remember, who was it? Like Russ Sam. There was somebody. They were shouting out Eric Gomez in the chat, like they thought it was a dude from Golden Boy watching. Right?
That's great.
You know, but Jesus Sam, how's it going? Daisy Sanchez, you know, Cepeda had a better performance than Tio. Yeah, he did. By the way, Cepeda is another great win by Shakur. I mean, a guy that his
That was a
warm up
good
round is 98 punches in round
Mhm.
one, and then he throws like 120 punches a round. Didn't stop. Line of
Yeah, I'm
fire.
not sure that's not a better win than T.O. if I'm being honest.
In
At least at the
hindsight,
time.
but I
In
mean,
hindsight,
going in, it
yes,
wasn't.
very fair, very fair.
But stylistically, it was just I guess he was always going to put up a better fight. So either way, for what it's worth, Jesus Sam, how's it going, brother? The shoe shine in the building.
Shout out Shoe Shine.
That's right. And
was
shout
on
out to all
last
you guys,
week.
man. Eric Gomez
He was
is
in the building.
famous. You know what I mean? He works for Golden Boy. He watches D Style like on the side. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it
Hilarious.
is. Hey, by the way, Golden Boy over there, should you guys be paying your freaking bills, bro? Like they got foreclosed. Like this dude Oscar De La Hoya is doing clapbacks the same day he's getting foreclosed, bro. Like get your priorities straight, brother. All right. I'm just
You
saying.
said it.
Anything else about Saturday you want to throw out there?
No, that's it. Josh Kelly, great win, dude. Great win, great performance, right? You know,
Oh
Blackman's
yeah,
like a guy who,
Murzalia. Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
Great performance.
Mutazayev, it was a great knockdown, you know, drag out. They really went toe to toe. This fight showed me something in Josh Kelly that I always suspected. And great win. I did pick him to win too. I said that was a 50-50 fight. I wasn't going to be surprised anyone who win, but I really just had this feeling like the way Josh Kelly was talking, you know, heading into this fight in camp. I don't know. I thought he was on a different level.
Look,
And he showed up.
Murzalia had been inactive for more than a year.
That's very true.
Half.
Good point.
And remember, he had like annihilated Tim Tszyu. Like he just destroyed him, right? And so the fact that, and this is the problem with boxing, like guys have big wins like that, and they almost try to bury them. Like it's almost like we're not even going to feature him. We're going to hope everybody forgets about him. Even Tim Tszyu got a title shot, you know, against freaking, you know, the Towering Inferno before Murtazalia could get a damn fight.
Yeah.
You know,
good call.
which this is the one unfair things about boxing. And I'm not trying to make any excuses or whatever, but he was definitely very inactive. So there was some time to, I think that gave, you know, Josh Kelly the edge. You know, it took Murtazalia a couple of rounds to get those cobwebs off, and he took full advantage of that. And Murtazalia came on late. Not saying it would have made a difference or not, but Josh Kelly did what he was supposed to do and took, you know, just brought it to him. Even got the knockdown, which is vital. And Murtazalia just came on too late, you know. And I personally wouldn't mind. I think Murtazalia deserves a rematch.
Good call.
I hope it happens, but I don't know. I mean, he didn't get a fight after destroying Tim Tszyu. What makes you think he's going to get a fight after losing this fight? But I have an
Well said.
idea who might pick him up, though. I have an idea, and it might be a good thing for Murzalia, and they have opponents for him too. But another fight I want to mention, someone I had on the show, and that was Taylor Jensen. She went in there against Turhan. And let me tell you something. I know Turhan was heavily favored to win. Turhan just had destroyed Beatrice, in like 5 rounds by TKO, and she was just on a tear, and like I think it was like 4 straight fights, just annihilating her opponents. And Taylor Jensen was a heavy underdog. They didn't even think she was going to get out like the 4th round. But I knew she was gonna get through it because this is someone who's in the military in Australia. She was. I know the excruciating type of training that they do, so I know like she's a person that has that type of stamina. I know she's been doing amateur boxing for a long time, but she's had a couple of pro fights already, and I know she's tough, good stamina, and a really good boxer. And I knew she was a better boxer than Turhan, and I think it showed in this fight. Turhan has the power, but I I personally felt like she won the fight. Taylor, I thought she won. I thought she outboxed her hand, but they gave it to her hand, but it was close, and that is that. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, it was a good scrap. I think that more and more we see women on cards in that position, and I mean it's we've been seeing it for a while now, but the more and more we see it, we see like there are differences to the fights, right? Like they provide a kind of action that differentiates itself from the men. You know what I mean? It's not to say that
Right.
every women's fight's a banger, but when they're there, they're there. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good performance on both sides for sure. It was a very fun fight to watch.
It was a fun fight to watch. I thought Taylor Jensen fought a good fight. To me, I think she looked a little sharper in there than Turhan. And look, obviously Turhan is a strong fighter, but she looks a little off balance at times. And I think maybe the judges didn't like the way Taylor Jensen was boxing.
I was gonna say the same
Maybe
thing.
didn't like the movement because despite what you said, I mean, she was fighting a very disciplined, fight. Taylor Jensen. It wasn't really like she wasn't fighting in a kind of wild or like just throwing caution to the wind type of fight. Like she was really, boxing a really good fight in there, and I think she looked sharper. I think she, found her ground in there, and I think she, in my opinion, and one of the judges agreed with me, pulled it off. But they didn't give it to her, so it is what it is, So what do I
Yeah,
know?
I think they gave more. I think the judges gave more weight to the shots that Don landed.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about Zuffa Boxing. Look, I gotta be honest. I really enjoyed the fights on Sunday. I thought they were solid. I think Rayo looked great, by the way. I mean, Rayo that's the best he's looked since the Pitbull Cruz fight. And I mean, he was just too sharp for this guy. I mean, he just put on a great performance. Um, Hot Rod getting that come from behind knockout win over Vajdik when he got knocked down twice. He was getting out box. I mean that's the best I've seen Vajdik in a while. And then he gets stopped in dramatic fashion. But I will say this: like that Boachuk fight with Butayev was a damn good fight. That final round, round 10, I think is the round of the year. I mean, it was just a great round altogether. But
Bro,
these fights have been delivering so far. And besides the Walsh fight from last week, but that's not here nor there. For whatever reason, Dana's high on Walsh, but okay, that's his dude, I guess. But I was impressed. I am a happy camper when it comes to the Zuffa card so far.
yeah, I I think that if you're a hardcore, you can't deny the matchups, right? Somebody's there that knows. They know what they're doing. We saw Kane Sandoval last week take the L to Julian. I picked Kane Sandoval on that one, but I always knew it was going to be a scrap. If you're a hardcore fan and you've seen these guys, you knew what they were going to bring, and they did not miss. So that shows something already, that they've been able to provide 2 fights right in this era. But the one thing that I've wanted to remind people is that, despite the fact that Zuffa Boxing is new in a name, it's just repackaged. Callum Walsh has been their guy, right? And that's the only reason he got that first main event, because he's been a Zuffa guy. He's been fighting for their boxing. He's been headlining when they were on the UFC app only. And so that's why he's in that position. That said, this rebranding, they've made it mean something. They've made it matter, right? These matchups have been great. You said the Ryu fight was awesome, and it was. Even that the Bogacek, yeah, that fight. I mean, there's just been amazing action. You can argue that in the month of January, if you had to put a short list of fights of the year, knockouts of the year, knockdowns, rounds of the year, they're basically all Zuffa, at this point, very early, obviously. That said, I do want to make this one comment, D. I want to make this one comment because I feel like it's important, right? Dana should be celebrating these fights and these matchups. He should be, he should feel good about the way that Zuffa Boxing has started. And at the same time, it's like every time Zuffa Boxing ends, he comes out and he pushes the goalposts further. And look, I know we are likely to get AJ Fury, on a Zuffa card. How it's going to be on Netflix, I don't know. But, that's the rumor. And so obviously have things planned. Canelo, in Mexico, in Saudi. That said, though, when you come out and you tell them, yes, we're making our own title belts, that's the gauntlet that you're still throwing down with the sanctioning bodies. And again, I'm not on either of their side. It's just like, how does a guy like Jay Abataya, who's coming out and his manager saying that we're going for undisputed, how does he get to undisputed if he's working with a promoter that's persona non grata? All I know is that it's better as a promoter to not say things until they're ready, until they're set. Look at De La Hoya. He announced this PBC 5-on-5, and now he looks like a fool. As in, nobody on PBC even confirmed that was ever going to happen.
So
Who
he
knows?
fits right in boxing.
Yeah. No. He fits right in. No.
It's
And that's
kind of like
not
the
to
dude
say,
that tell me, "Oh man, he's corrupt." I'm like, well, I guess he'll fit right in. I mean, it is.
yeah. The old guard is not worth protecting at all. But that's also not to say that Dana has.
Yeah, look,
answers,
I mean,
right?
obviously he's gonna aim high and he's gonna fall short sometimes, But he's an entrepreneur. That's how they are. Like, what I mean, it's he's gonna have times where he says things and maybe he has a shoe in his mouth. But at the end of the day, all I care about is the fights. I don't care if he said he's not going to work with the sanctioning bodies, and if he does work with the sanctioning bodies, but he gives me fights that I like, that's all I care about. Like, at the end of the day, them saying that he's going to let Jaya Pataya fight for the sanctioning belt so he could become undisputed, I don't care if he went back on his word. I just, to me, it's like, hey, as long as we get the fights, that's all I care about at the end of the day. Jaya Pataya, I think, is a great signing. I have a video up where I talk about it and I explain already why I think he's a perfect signing by Zuffa. I think he's the perfect example of a fighter who did everything right.
Yes.
Is clearly the best in his division, but the boxing world tried to bury him. They try to hide him, and they try to keep him away from guys that they think are worth more money, like a Zurdo, I guess. This the level we're in.
No, you're absolutely right.
And now working in conjunction with the ring, and they're getting the Saudi funding. Look, for the next 3-4 years, they're set, so they have time. Very similar to like you know what they are? They're like the incoming expansion team, but without a salary cap. They're just coming in and they get to spend. They start fresh. They don't have a lot of baggage aside from if you want to consider UFC and slap boxing baggage, but whatever, right?
Yeah,
and that's what they're doing right now, right? Like, they have a fresh start. They have a guaranteed deal. Any and all fighters that they bring in, that's something they could tell all of them. Hey, you're going to be on TV. We're going to keep you busy, right? And a guy I would love for them to sign, if he can't get his rematch with Josh Cowley, sign Murtazaliev. Get him on the Zuffa Boxing, right? And you do a fight with Murtazaliev versus Bohachuk. And you tell me who's not gonna watch that? That's a fight, bro.
Hell yeah. But
That's Russia versus Ukraine. I mean, I don't want to go there as far, but hey, fuck it, it's boxing, right? Like you go, they went there anyway, like last Sunday. I think that is a hell of a fight. That's a fucking war, bro. But this is what Zuffa Boxing is bringing. Guys that are being exiled and not given opportunities, and they don't have a promoter. Guess what? Now Zuffa could step in, sign those guys, and give them opportunities. And I think that's the important part about Zuffa right now.
And I want to make it very clear, right? Like I don't really give a shit of Dana going back on his word. I mean, I guess it's like not the best way to practice business, and it sure doesn't make me trust you, but that's like not even it at all. The thing is, like, there's a war going on right now between Sulaiman and Zuffa or TKO or whatever entity you really want to say.
Right.
And I don't give a fuck who wins, but I can tell you that I'm pretty sure that at some point WBC is going to get pretty petty with the Zuffa fighters. We've seen it from sanctioning bodies many times where they cozy up to one promoter and say fuck off to the other one. And so I'm more worried about the retaliatory behavior that we've seen in boxing that led to things like the Cold War, right? The fans are the ones that get hurt when these lines are drawn historically in boxing, right? So that's my only real worry is, I know you commented, I saw what you put on Twitter, talking shit to Mauricio. He went on Ariel and did his, propaganda speech. So I don't know if one side is better than the other. That's never been the point that I'm willing to make. It's that at this point, to get the best fights, there is absolutely no question that boxing has to work together. Zuffa's not in a position right now to give us anything more than really great in-house fights and also big money fights they can pay for, right? Because like nobody's putting Joshua and Fury together, right? That's not going to happen. But they can. They sure as shit can. And so, I think it's clear that we're seeing what the business is, right, from Dana. Every time one show ends, he gives us something that you talk about in the next one. And it's very similar to the way he conducted himself promoting the UFC, right? It was always about the next event. That's how a good promoter works. So, you don't fault him for that, not at all. It's just that, keeping things in context, I think, is a much better route than over promising and under delivering. And again, I'm not saying that's what Zuffa is going to do or Dana's going to do. And that's not what they've ever really done when it comes to UFC. But this is boxing. And until those big contracts are up, like they talked about, I don't really know what else you can do. That said, they are doing a terrific job. They just signed the kid from California. Maybe D can remember his name. And they made a run at Bam, and if Bam didn't have a match clause in his contract, Matchroom might have lost him, right then and there. So they got Bam. They're going after the guys that they know. And by the way, right before the year ended, they were at nationals in Texas, in California, in Colorado, in Arizona. Nick Khan, the president of TKO, okay, and several other high-ranking people along with Dana White. So these guys know what they're looking for, and they're scouting early. They definitely have a future plan.
I agree. Hey, look, let's listen to a little bit of this is definitely Mario's favorite sanctioning body president, but we're going to hear from him. All right. Look, let's listen to this a little bit.
Like they claim there's no sanction fees in Zuffa. Of course there's no sanction fees because they take all the money. It's ridiculous. It's something that is very elemental. If you compare one to the other, it's not apples to apples.
Did you speak to him when you were at that event, Nick Khan?
Yes.
Well, what does that even mean, by the way? They don't pay sanctioning fees with Zuffa. The fighters don't pay sanctioning fees with Zuffa because they keep all the money. Like, what does that even mean? Like, what? All like what? Because you're not getting a piece of the pie. That's because the middleman isn't involved. Somehow it's a problem. Like, what does it even mean, bro? It's not his money. The money that You know what he hates about this is that every time someone asks him, "Well, why do you charge these sanctioning fees?" He always says things like, "Because the WBC, creates opportunities for these fighters to make money," and he makes it sound like without the WBC, there'll be no money to be made. He just hates the fact he's seething that he's not getting a piece of the pie. He looks at the TKO deal with Paramount, and he wants a piece of it. He feels he's entitled to 3% of every single one of those fighters' purses, and he wants some of it. He thinks he's entitled to it. You're not entitled to it. They didn't need you to get it. This proves your point that you need the WBC to get it, right? And now you're mad about it, and you're seething about it. Listen to this nonsense. Listen to this.
Like they claim there's no sanction fees in Zuffa. Of course there's no sanction fees because they take all the money. It's ridiculous.
Mario, explain that one for me.
Yeah, I got you. Listen, I have nothing to push back on as far as what you're saying from a broader standpoint. That said, and this is not I'm not defending Mauricio Sulaiman
He's
here.
your
I'm
dude.
not.
You can defend.
I'm not. I'm not. What I am saying though is that this is more than just, hey, I want my piece. That is reducing it to the lowest form that it is, because what it really is he's saying, I'm fighting for my life. I'm fighting for survival. Zuffa's not coming along saying they're going to make the ring belt great again. They're coming out and they're saying they're bringing it into us completely. The unnecessitation of sanctioning bodies in boxing as a whole. When you look at the MMA landscape and how world champions are crowned, it's just like Super Bowl. It's just like the MLB. A single franchise controls the means of the championship, and anyone inside of that promotion is relegated to compete for it. Anyone outside of it is not. They have their own world titles. So it's not really a world championship unless you can monopolize the sport in a way that all the best fighters in the world gravitate to you. Exactly what the NBA did, exactly what the MLB did. So when you look at that, you can say, hey, I see what he's doing. He's lying. He's using propaganda in the same way that Dana White and Zuffa do, because he's fighting for his survival as a company, as an entity in boxing.
Are you saying he like, what good point is he making?
No, nothing. He's using propaganda to fight a much bigger fight than you're suggesting. If they were to come out and say, hey, we're going to give WBC like 10% every year or whatever, that wouldn't be good enough, because he knows that the long-term plan is suffocating them out of the sport.
100%, Mario. But here's the thing about Mauricio. I said I reduce it to the lowest of the low?
Yes.
Guess what Mauricio Sulaiman is in my eyes?
The lowest of the low?
He's the lowest of the lowest. He's sloppy Mauricio soulless man. Okay, that's who he is to me. All right? Sloppy Mauricio soulless man. All right? This dude has almost 40% of the money that he gets in sanctioning fees are completely unaccounted for. We don't know where the fuck it goes. He claims it goes to the whole Sulaiman fund, but the numbers aren't adding up. And by the way, I'm going to be doing some stuff on that, by the way. Some dudes out there are actually using my research. I'm going to get to the bottom of that. But nonetheless, I am going to put some of this shit to light. Mauricio Sulaiman needs to shut the fuck up about transparency. I'm going to tell you that right now. ASAP. But we're going to play a little more.
It's something that
Fair use, by the way.
is very elemental.
Speed it up.
If you compare one to the other,
Yeah,
it's
it is
not
fair
apples
use,
to
but
apples.
Did you speak to him when you were at that event, Nick?
Yes.
How-
Dr. Rakan introduced me to him. I met him before, but he introduced me to him. We spoke. Everything was nice. And he said, I'm sorry for the misunderstandings, because they said I could not go into the ring. So I said, okay, just have 2 or 3 security guards to throw me out of the ring, because I'm going into the ring. It's the WBC belt, and I'm going to have to go in and present and do my job. If you don't want me in, just have people take me out.
And what did he say when you said that?
No, I didn't say that to him.
Okay.
I said it in a program like this.
Okay.
And it came out.
And in the end, you were in the ring.
I was in the ring,
Yes.
with all the other presidents of the organization.
Hey, by the way, Mauricio's Mexican, so he'll get this one. All right. What? Like, you better get some security guards to hold me back. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro.
Oh,
What are
you
you
said
gonna
that
do?
to him? Nah, I said it in my head, but I was thinking it right then and there. Like, yo, you're like, why even say that? That made you sound so lame that you said.
Yeah, he's
First
such
of
a
all,
tough
it seems
guy.
like you're crying because you wanted to be in the ring, and that makes it seem like you have to be a part of the show, right? That makes it seem like you think you're some sort of percentage part of that show, the fight between
Yeah,
two other men or women.
Dude's like, yeah, and I told him, yeah, you better get some security guards to hold me back because I'm gonna do my job. You told him that one? No, I didn't say it to him, but
No, well, I didn't say that.
come on.
Like, oh my god, then why
What
did you
is
say it
like? Ain't
on
nobody
air?
intimidated by Mari.
Guy, bro, that's crazy, crazy work.
Like, is anybody intimidated by Mauricio Sulaiman in the chat? By the way, anybody? Anyone?
Uh,
Like, are you intimidated, Mario? Or you look at him, oh man, he's an intimidating figure.
no, but I do think he's vindictive. I do think that he holds a grudge, and I do think he goes
How
out
many
of his way
security
to
guards
make
to hold
petty
him
shit
back?
happen.
How many?
No, zero. But it also, I think, doesn't take him more than a second to decide whether he wants to go after a small YouTube channel or TikTok video or
Yeah.
whatever.
What is he
going
gonna do to me, Mario? What is he gonna do to me? Like,
No,
what's
not
he
to
gonna
you
do?
specifically, D. Not at all. I'm saying he's vindictive in general.
You know what's beautiful about these style, and it's not just me, by the way. Shout out to all the independent creators out there. Mario's one of them. You know what I mean? But WBC doesn't pay my bills. The WBC doesn't cut me a check. Neither do any one of these promoters. And you know what? I don't need their credentials. Okay, if I want to go to a boxing event, I'll just pay the $35 that they all cost to go in because they're rarely that expensive because a lot of people don't even go to boxing shows, right? Like, I'm not even that worried about it. All right, I'm not like, it just is what it is. Mauricio Sulaiman can do nothing to me, nothing. Just like he could do nothing to Zuffa, and he knows it. He knows this. This is why he's crying to Ariel Hawani. This is crazy. Let's play this.
There's a lot of confusion on the message that first they say no WBC and other organizations, and we will not deal with any other promoters, and then they say,
But is it a Mexican thing to use your hands like that in a flamboyant way? Because I know I do it. Like, I'm always like this. Is that like a thing with Mexicans?
I think it is. I think it is. A lot of my bosses that were older Mexican men, they had that kind of, way of speaking.
said they sign up Petaya, and then they say, well, we might.
I don't quite have the gray hair yet. I know Mario does, but not me. Like, I mean, I still got like some, dark hair on my. I'm just saying.
I'm
be
good
doing-
until I get the gray pubes. Then I'm like, I'll re-trip it after that.
I'm talking shit. I'm already growing some, by the way, but it's all good.
We don't know. So there's confusion. I feel very sorry for Callum Walsh.
He feels sorry for Callum. Everyone get a load of this one. Have you heard this, by the way, Mario?
Yes.
He was the WBC Continental Americas champion. First, the WBC USA champion before that. Super welterweight. Unbelievable nice kid whom I've seen him many times. His dream to be the WBC champion. His social media is full of videos with his belt and pushing, saying it's a dream, blah, 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 blah. Now he's into that league, and he has to fight in middleweight because they don't have super welterweight. And he didn't look good. I don't know if he can be built into a middleweight. So that example of Callum Walsh, I felt sad for him. There was another fighter in that card, also Continental Americas champion. So they sent us a letter, Tom Loeffler, vacating those titles because they cannot defend.
The Continental champion.
Bro.
Continental America. So what's poor Walsh going to do without his Continental America's WBC championship? Like, you know what I mean? What is he going to do, bro? Like, what, like, oh my God.
Keep $250 of his check.
I mean, the Continental America's WBC champion. Oh, and he was the U.S. WBC champion before that. And he claims that was his dream to win the Continental America's championship.
Yeah,
What do we? He feels sorry for him because he's not the WBC Continental America's champion anymore. Poor guy.
He's equating world championship to the WBC alone, and that's just completely conflating the landscape of boxing. Does the green belt represent a lot historically in the sport? Absolutely. But there isn't a single casual fan or hardcore fan there isn't a single casual fan, first of all, that can differentiate between a world title fight. If you put world championship match on a card, a casual fan knows no better. You know what I mean? So it isn't nearly as worth as what he says it is.
This is absolutely unbelievable. And look, I have a feeling he's not being very truthful here because basically he would have to go to the commission, right, to get access like to the ring like that. Because the commission, like, yes, the promoters pays like the people that work for the commission. So I have to like actually clarify that. But if the commission allows him in the ring, if the commission, it's run by the government, by the way, allows him in the ring, then there's nothing the promoter could do. So I'm trying to understand that one. And did you hear about like he was upset that they just gave him tickets to the fight to sit down like a fan? Like they didn't give him like access to the very, very front. He's like very butthurt about that.
Yeah.
Like he feels like he should have had a front row seat, you know, like it is what it is.
Yeah, he's been used to being catered to. He's been used to, I'll never forget watching that HBO sports segment. I think we've talked about it before, on FIFA and like how corrupt it was and all this. And, I wasn't a big soccer fan at the time. So it was like very eye-opening for me. I had no idea what was going on. Had no idea it was like this big open secret in soccer. And when the corruption charges came down and all that, you started to get a bigger scope of what was going on. Like, I'll never forget that moment, right? And it opened my eyes to what it means to be taking advantage of your situation, right? You don't have to be getting $1 million or $10,000 envelopes. You don't need that. That's not what it needs. You can just take advantage of the perks. And it seems like what he's admitting on this show and what he's been admitting for months now is that there's an element of this bit of his business plan that depended on the sanctioning bodies basically upping him at every cost, right? Flying him in for whatever, or staying at the best hotels. He complained about the room he had that Zuffa gave him or whatever, TKO gave him or whatever, all these little perks that he's enjoyed because the promoters know you got to keep, the guy happy. You got to keep rolling him out in the best stuff so that he'll keep making our fighters ranked higher. It's a scam without being a scam. It's an unsaid thing.
Check this out, Mario. I'm not sure if you can, if you're seeing what I'm seeing on my end, right? I'm going to show you. This is the post I did a while back. Okay, the IBF tax form versus the WBC tax form, right? Okay, this is the guy talking about transparency and all that, right? So this is the IBF, right? You notice the IBF, look how everything is itemized, right? I'm not going to go over everything, but you guys can look at it right there. Everything's itemized, just about, you know what I mean? Pension plans, employee benefits, accounting, whatever the case is. I still don't understand. There is an expense that I don't get here, but either way, right? Telephone. I don't know why they're spending $13,000 a year on telephone, but okay, whatever.
Maybe like international calls.
I guess just use a cell phone. I mean, use WhatsApp, bro. I don't know. Like what
I know, right?
Postage and shipping. Like, I mean, I guess you ship the belts. You know what I mean? Bank charges get cool. Total expenses, other expenses, 21,000, right? So everything's itemized. Now let's look at the WBC, right? The WBC, we take a look at it here. If I can bring it up, give me a second. What happened? All right, there. Touch screens, ladies and gentlemen, right? The WBC, as you guys can see here, right? Nothing on grants, nothing on benefits, compensation, 1.6 million on salaries, right? Payroll taxes, okay. Management, okay, cool. They're spending 400,000 a year on travel, which makes sense. They do travel a lot. Office expenses 196, conferences 183,000. Insurance 94,000, right? Because he always says we collect sanction fees, we got to pay for the insurance. Whether that's how much he paid a year, 94,000. Mario, are you able to see what it says on all other expenses right there?
I am, yes. It says 2,285,163.
So you accounted for belts and trophies, committees, travel, conferences, your employee benefits, pension plans, and all that. Operating costs already covered. What's with the other? Why does the IBF have 26,000, but the WBC has over 2 million on other?
What's the percentage of that? Do you know?
It's
Like, what's the
about
percentage?
well, look, the total is 5.5 million,
Uh-huh.
right? And the all other is 2.2 million.
So it's almost half.
It's almost half.
Okay.
And he claims it goes to the Jose Sulaiman fund. However, the numbers are not adding up. I don't have it in front of me right now, but other reporters have accounted for it, which it's been like maybe like 9 million in like the last 13 years that's been spent by the Jose Sulaiman fund. Well, they're collecting 2.2 million a year. Well, for the last 13 years, that's just not adding up. Like, it's not adding up, bro. Right? And I would like an investigation, quite frankly. Maybe Congress should do something fucking useful for once. He's the one talking about transparency, not me. Right? And by the way, I was the first one to put this out, so the dudes that put it out, can you give me some credit? I'm just saying. Right? But, and by the way, just for the record, Mario, I'm not doxing them. This is public information.
No, that's public information.
It's public information because they're a non-profit organization. So non-profits, we could see everything. It's available to the public. They pay taxes in Florida in order to operate here in the United States of America. So, and you saw a difference between the IBF, WBC. You guys want more detail on it, you can go to my post. And I'm going to be dropping some more shit pretty soon. Mauricio Sulaiman's running his mouth a little too much for my liking. And unlike Mario, I don't like him very much.
I don't like Sulaiman. I don't know why you say that.
You're like a big fan. That's what I heard. Like,
No.
I heard you have a bunch of WBC memorabilia in the back, but you always take
I
it
do
off
have-
or lie with me.
No. I do have WBC memorabilia. I do, but it's signed by fighters. All right.
Got it,
Mauricio, because it's like, dude, here's the thing, right? I can be a fan of WWE without excusing anything that makes Vince really fucking gross, right? And there are things
100%.
that make him really fucking gross. So it's like, I love what the WC represents from a nostalgia standpoint. Yes, I'm not going to deny that. I am a mark
Hey, look,
for
they got
that
the
green
best looking
belt.
in the business. man.
Absolutely. But Sulaiman himself has been a key participant in having boxing in the current state that it's in. And he was willing to go along with it so much that it benefited him specifically and his family. One thing I want to make clear that I know that you've made clear, I'll give you credit on this because you're the one who brought this to my attention. You know, he talked about this thing on the whole Helwani show about how, you know, they've got construction businesses and how they make their money that's away from the WC, and the WC's nonprofit. But you introduced your family and your grandkids as the heir to the WBC, and you talked about how this company is, you know, for your legacy and your lineage, and that means you're like literally handing it down. Like, is it the WBC an institution that stands for boxing at the world level? Or is it the Sulaiman Title Foundation, in
100%.
which they get to be the kings and the princes and the what is it called, like the royal benefactors or whatever?
I
You know,
got you.
in that lineage.
Heir
Is
apparent.
that how it works? Heir apparent. Thank you. Perfect. Yeah, I don't think that's right.
Yeah, the whole shit, the whole it's all like a kangaroo voting system they got too. Whenever they vote for the new president, it's all his loyalists, bro.
Yeah, it's as
It's
fair
as
as a
legit
Putin
as
election in
the
fucking Russia.
it's as legit as an election in North Korea, brother. All right, like oh yeah, they're gonna Kim Jong Un is voted unanimously by every single person in North Korea, right? Now let's just end it with this. We're not gonna have time for the Wilder thing. We'll talk about that another day. But Wilder, by the way, came out and said once again that he was cheated in the fights. He still can't accept the loss of Fury. It is what it is. But Floyd Mayweather suing Showtime, saying they owe him hundreds of millions of dollars.
What?
To
I didn't
me,
even hear that.
This is a clear sign he's running out of money. That's what it sounds like to me.
Oof.
And unfortunately for Floyd, and look, why are we talking? People are going to come out and be, why are you guys talking about Floyd? And because he talks about it. He talks about his money. He flaunts it in front of people. He tells everybody he has all these businesses that he makes. I think at one point he said he was making like $400 million a month or whatever the hell he was saying. But I think he's running out of money. He's going to be fighting some Iron Mike, but not Tyson, some other dude soon in an exhibition. But apparently he's suing Showtime. This is nuts. Who's now owned by Paramount, by the way. I wonder if that's why he was cozying up to Donald Trump and all that. I wonder if that's part of the reason. Like, I really don't know, but apparently he's suing it for $300 million. Like, the math isn't mathing. It just isn't. And this is going straight at Al Heyman. Like, it's like weird. Like I don't even know what's up with this, but this is a blow Al Heyman does not need, or some drama Al Heyman does not need right now with the shit PBC is going through. But Mario, reaction.
I think your reaction is probably the most logical. The money thing is it's always a thing, right? When you see people try to live a lifestyle, right, that they're used to, when the money's rolling in like clockwork and you're getting these large sum payments. But ultimately, when you try to continue to live that lavish life, when a major component of your brand is no longer operating at the same, financial upkeep. That said, though, I think that there are a lot of things that have shown where he's at financially right before this. I know the IRS thing was a big story, but he had been in a country for a while, and there were rumors that he was being held there because he owed an oligarch or something like that, tied to the government, X amount of money on a casino or like a hotel trip or something like that, whatever.
Yeah.
And they weren't letting him fly home until he paid it. They try to downplay that story a little bit, but the receipts are there. He was scheduled to fly home and he didn't get to fly home, and he was there at the airport. So what else does it tell you? That said, though, there was another story of him going to, I can't remember what foreign state, I think it might have been France, something like that. And he went to somebody from the Israel administration and basically sold his political brand, right? And he came out for Israel, and he's, they say, I think they call it kissing the wall. It's a lot of weird streamers or whatever that are weirdos that use that term. I think it just means like, trying to get that Israel money. And so I think those are all indicative of some financial issues for Mr. Mayweather.
For sure.
Also fighting still.
Yeah. Man, I'm telling you right now, this is going to, like, he's 50 almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care how good you are. If he's still fighting in his 50s, nobody's going to beat him at some point. Like, if he keeps fighting. I mean, I don't even know what the hell he can't fight forever. Mayweather Promotions went nowhere.
Nowhere.
Right? Like it went nowhere. PBC, who he had investments with, went nowhere. I don't know if he means here's the thing though, and I'll be honest with you, I have not read the article. Okay. I'm just looking at the headline. So maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I'm wrong to jump the gun. Maybe he doesn't mean his fights. What is possible is, do you remember how angry he got when Canelo fought, like he had a plan, beat him, and then he went back with Matchroom and the Zone?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
there was a lot of talk that Floyd helped invest and fork up money to Al Heyman to bring Canelo over. And that's why he was so angry and was all of a sudden started attacking Canelo all the time. And I wonder if he was helping fork out money to keep PBC afloat. And
Wow.
maybe they owe him money. Like I want, or maybe don't owe him, but he just sees it that way. He never got his investment. Like, cause if you invest in something and they lose money, it is what it is, bro. You know what I mean? But I really don't know. I wonder. I don't know if it's I'll do a live on it tomorrow once I read it. But I wonder if he's saying about his times while he was a fighter or when he was just kind of investing with PBC, because Showtime was kind of exclusive to PBC for a while. So
Holy
I do wonder
shit,
if that's what it is.
dude. Let me tell you right now before we get off, you guys better follow D Style because he guessed totally fucking right. I just read the article briefly, and I'm just going to read this real quick portion.
Sure.
Floyd claims Heyman, whom he worked for over a decade, misappropriated significant portions of his career earnings to the tune of a whopping $340 million, and he says he did so with the help of Showtime and SE.
Okay.
Steven
Well, but
Espinosa.
that doesn't clarify if it's after he was retired or it was during his career. But
Well, but
you know,
okay, that's fair. Okay, sure, but at the same time, dude, I mean, pretty damn close. Like you basically said it was a misappropriation from Al Heyman, and that's ends up what it absolutely was.
no, I knew that much because I seen the comments people were leaving. So
Oh,
I
got
knew
you.
that much
Yeah,
that it
my bad,
had
my
something to
bad.
do with Heyman.
My bad, my bad.
But I'm just wondering what because it can be his fighting career. When you fight, there's a contract. There's just you know what I mean. Like there is. This is your guarantee. This is what you make, and that's that. Like you know what I mean. So that's a lot of money. I'm just telling you that right now. That sounds like money he invested, and he never got a return in that investment, and maybe that's what he's looking for here. You know what I mean?
He's calling it elaborate long-term financial scheme. That's what
crazy.
Floyd's calling it.
Well, shit, man. Could you
Yeah.
imagine he wins this case?
Bro, listen, this is it. The great civilizations don't last forever, right? Rome fell. And there's a good likelihood that the United States will fall at some point. I'm not saying that like right now or
100%,
anything. I'm just
100%.
saying like, you know what I mean? And by the way, one day this entire earth is going to be uninhabitable. You know what I mean? Like
Man.
nothing lasts. Nothing lasts.
Nothing lasts forever. Mario,
Except
last
for
words.
stand
for
up
episode.
dudes like D Style. That's what my last words are. Stand up dudes like D Style. They're the only ones that last. Also, the Ball Figueroa fight. That's my last. That's gonna be a really good fight. You should watch that. Also, if you're a wrestling fan, follow me tomorrow for live because it looks like AJ Styles might actually go to AEW, which would be fucking crazy. But
Why
We'll see.
would he retire from WWE to go to AEW?
because he's mad that they disrespected him so much. The John Cena thing was never supposed to happen. The fans fucking like turned on Cena to the point where Cena came out on Twitter and that match was basically booked by the fans on X. So AJ's son came out and was like, my dad's been a blah, 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 blah champion. He main evented, blah, blah, and this is how they treat him. So since then, there are people that say that AJ got really pissed and that his kid was in his head and all these people. So he told the WWE at that moment back in November, I think it was, I'm not renewing and I'm not extending my contract. The whole thing was AJ was always retiring in 2026. That was always going to be the year. However, the idea was he was going to extend his contract to at least wrestle until like SummerSlam or something. But he told them, no, I'm
Got
done. February 1st, the first day he's done. So he can be on AEW tomorrow.
We're gonna. It is what it is. But hey, man, I appreciate you coming on, brother, and shout out to
course.
everybody that tuned in. This is D Style from Mario. We are out of here. Peace.